With all the advancements in nutrition, equipment, program design, and tracking apps, a lot of lifters assume the more complicated, the better it works. And sure, simple programs can work, just not as well. That's nonsense. Some of the most productive training methods ever used are brutally simple and still outperform every other option. My favorite protocol for building strength, size, and mental toughness is the max set method. It's been proven for decades, it's simple to execute, and it can work for years. Now, it's not for everyone, and there are some nuances that you need to understand. But first, let's break down exactly how it works. You do a few base sets at a fixed rep goal, and then you finish with one max set. The max set does three jobs. It drives intensity, it gives a clear performance target, and it tells you exactly how to progress. Now let's walk through a lower body example. Your first lower body day of the week might start with something like back squats, 4 sets of 5 plus a max set, then followed up with a hip hinge and then some general lower body accessory movements. Day 2 would start with that hip hinge movement as your main max set exercise, something like the deadlift, followed by a squat accessory, and then again some more general accessory movements. So each day has one main big lower body lift and then some supporting movements. Athletes will also likely start with some sprints or jumps prior to the lifting, usually replacing one or two of those accessory movements. Now here's what makes this method so effective. The max set forces progress. That final set is a controlled challenge. For many lifters, intensity is going to be the biggest driver of progress. The earlier sets build skill with clean reps. The base sets allow you to really dial in technique before the all-out intense set. The max set controls progressions automatically. Progression becomes simple and objective. Here's the standard rule. If you do 3 extra reps on the max set compared to the base sets, you add weight the next week. So if your base is 5 reps, the goal to progress is 8 or more. If you hit that 8 or more, you'll add 5 pounds next week. If you get 7 or less, you keep the weight the same. And your job next week is to just beat your previous rep number. And it creates a weekly competitive target. This method for competitive people can be a big advantage because every week you have one mission: beat last week. You learn to dig deep and summon strength you didn't know you had. This does change slightly for upper body days. On upper body days, you can run one push and one pull max set exercise, like bench press and pull-ups. Then follow with a secondary push and pull that's a little bit lower intensity for technique and volume, something like an overhead press and rowing variation, along with adding a few accessory movements as needed. If you have smaller 1.25 pound plates, add 2.5 pounds to upper body lifts instead of 5 each week. If not, keep the weight the same and up the base reps by 1. You'd go from 4 sets of 5 plus a max set to 4 sets of 6 plus a max set, back to 4 sets of 5 with 5 pounds heavier, and repeat. For adjusting the training split depending on how many days a week you train, see our creating a program playlist. For this video though, we're just focused on the progression itself. This method works best for intermediate lifters, meaning lifters who have trained seriously between 6 months and 2 years, have solid technique on the big compound lifts, and need more intensity since the beginner gains have disappeared. Beginners don't need this intensity yet. They need to master technique and build consistency, usually training between a 6 and 8 out of 10 effort, with clean reps. Max sets can make beginners chase reps and intensity at the expense of form, and they're new enough to lifting that they're gonna make fast progress without needing that extra intensity. Once their technique is solid, then this method works incredibly well. For advanced athletes, max sets are powerful, but also costly, because squatting 185 pounds for a max set is not the same as doing it with 400. The stronger you are, the more fatigue each session creates. So advanced lifters typically don't run max sets every week, year-round. Instead, a great use is using them the last week of a training block, right before a deload week, because fatigue doesn't matter as much. You're about to recover anyway. Now for a few guidelines that will help take this method from a solid choice to one that can help you progress for years. Week 1 should feel easy, at least the base sets. You want to hit around 10 to 12 reps on your max set in that first week, given 5 reps is your base. That gives you room to progress and keep form clean. Then, each week, your goal is simple. Match reps with more weight or beat last week by 1 rep. Eventually though, you will reach a point where you're not adding weight or reps. That's okay. It's perfectly normal and means you're pushing hard. If you've gone 2 to 3 weeks without progression, you have a few options. You can take a deload week, recover, and restart slightly lighter than where you left off, and then build back up And quickly check out our full video on deload weeks so you have a full understanding. You can also switch exercises like bench press to incline bench press as your max set exercise. And you can change the rep range, which is insanely effective for long-term progress. Instead of always doing sets of 5, you can move through rep ranges over time. 4 sets of 8 plus a max set, then 4 sets of 5 plus a max set, then 4 sets of 3 plus a max set. When you stall in one range, you drop the reps, add weight again, and then keep cycling back later. And yes, you can combine these 3 options. Just don't change everything at once, especially while you're still learning how your body reacts. I suggest doing the deload week along with either one of the other 2. And the last point is non-negotiable. Max sets only work if technique stays clean. No cutting depth on squats, no butt coming up on the bench press, and no rounding your back on the deadlifts to artificially increase your reps. The moment technique breaks down, the set is over. The max set method is brutally simple and extremely effective. And by adjusting rep ranges, rotating exercises, and recovering properly, you can keep progressing for a long time without complicated training. Good luck, and never stop improving.